French fries are not French. They never were. And for 70 years, nobody corrected the lie. Today we're going to. I'm Drew, and this channel asks one question. You eat it every day. But do you actually know what it is? Today we're going deep on Brussels. Chocolate, waffles, beer. Yeah, you know those. But what you don't know is what's behind them. One of these foods was born from an accident. One was deliberately hidden for 20 years. One was invented in a royal palace and then abandoned. And one, the most famous one on this list, never came from the country you think it did. Number 1 is going to change the way you look at the most eaten snack food in human history. Let's go. Number 10. And this one surprises people, because most of them have never heard of it as Belgium's national dish. Moules-Frites, mussels and fries. Belgians don't eat this on special occasions. They eat this the way other cities drink coffee. Every corner, brasserie, every Friday night, paper cone in hand, standing on a cobblestone street mid-conversation. The story goes back to the 19th century. During Belgian winters, mussels shipped down from the North Sea were cheap, abundant, the perfect protein for working-class neighborhoods that had very little else. And what do you put next to them? Something cheap, something filling, something fried, a poverty meal. Today, that same combination costs 28 euros and gets called a dining experience. Brussels sells it as tradition. Both things are true. Number 9. This one starts with a father who was running out of options. 1912. Brussels. A man named Jean Neuhaus runs a small pharmacy. Business is slow, and Neuhaus is desperate enough to try something unusual. At this point in history, chocolatiers sold flat, solid chocolate. No filling. No interior. Neuhaus has a different idea. A thin shell of chocolate, hollow inside, packed with hazelnut cream. He calls it the praline, borrowed from a French word for sugared almond. But what he made was something the world had never tasted. The response isn't slow, it's immediate. He cannot keep up with demand. But here's where the Neuhaus family makes a mistake they can never take back. His grandchildren license the recipe, first to local competitors, then to larger manufacturers, then to global conglomerates. Today, over 90% of praline chocolates produced worldwide are made outside Belgium. John Neuhaus's name survives on one small shop in Brussels. That's it. Number 8. And this is the one that microbiologists still can't fully explain. A beer, made without adding any yeast at all. Lambic. In the Pajottenland region just outside Brussels, brewers do something that sounds impossible. They pour the grain liquid into giant open tanks, and they wait. Windows open. Night air coming in. And the wild yeasts and bacteria floating through Brussels' atmosphere, a combination of microorganisms found nowhere else on Earth, drift down into the liquid. Fermentation begins on its own. Microbiologists have tried to isolate and transplant this specific combination of organisms. They've attempted to brew lambic in other cities, other countries, other climates. It doesn't work. Without that precise mix of airborne organisms, you don't get the same beer. This beer belongs to this city in a way that can't be moved, copied, or franchised. But hold that thought, because number 5 has something even stranger, and I need you to stay with me until we get there. Number 7, the story of a dish that changed social class twice. Vol au vent. The name is French for flies in the wind, and if you've ever seen one, you understand why. The puff pastry is rolled so thin, layered so precisely, that when it bakes, it practically levitates. A hollow shell that somehow holds cream sauce and chicken, or seafood, without collapsing. The origin sits in the royal kitchens of early 19th century Brussels, where French-trained chefs competed to push technique to its absolute limit. One of them rolled the dough thinner than anyone thought possible. For decades, vol au vent existed exclusively on aristocratic tables. Working-class Belgians had never tasted it. Then restaurants got hold of it, shrunk it down, simplified it, put it on a lunch menu for 2 francs, a royal dish becoming a Tuesday lunch. No apology. No ceremony. Brussels does that. It takes things off their pedestals and feeds them to people. Number 6, a spread that most of North America has never encountered, and that Belgium eats every single morning without thinking twice about it. Made from slow-cooked pork fat, onion, and spices, pressed into something dense and deeply savory, it goes on toast the way other cultures reach for butter. No ceremony. No explanation needed. It has been on Belgian breakfast tables for generations, and it has barely crossed a single border. The reason isn't quality. The reason is that Belgium never tried to export it, never marketed it, never gave it a rebrand or a sleek jar or a celebrity endorsement. It just sat there on the table every morning, completely confident it didn't need anyone's approval. That attitude is very Belgian. Number 5. Everything up to this point has been interesting, but I need you to understand. This one is different, because this one was an accident, and then it was a secret, kept deliberately. For 20 years, 1830, Belgium has just won its independence, but the economy is in chaos. Villages around Brussels are struggling. Farmers are hiding whatever food they can find. A farmer named John Lammers is relocating chicory roots into the dark, damp cellar beneath his house. He notices something. The roots have sprouted. But because they've been growing in complete darkness, they're not green. They're pale yellow-white, almost translucent. Normal chicory is bitter, tough. You have to fight it to eat it. But this, Lammers takes a bite, and he tells nobody. For 20 years, this vegetable grows only for his family. Neighbors don't know. The village doesn't know. Nobody knows. Why did he hide it? Because the moment others find out, the advantage disappears. In a countryside where food meant survival, a secret harvest was worth more than anything you could buy. In 1867, the Brussels Botanical Garden officially discovers the vegetable and names it Belgian Endive. Lammers has been dead for years. His name appears in none of the official records. Belgian Endive is today the largest agricultural export product in Belgium by value. Billions of dollars. Sold across Europe, the United States, Japan. The man who found it by accident and protected it with silence gets none of the credit. Some of the most important food discoveries in history happened exactly that way. Number 4. A story of mistaken identity, and a city that's been quietly furious about it for 60 years. When Americans say Belgian waffle, they picture a perfect rectangular grid, powdered sugar, strawberries, whipped cream. That waffle was invented for Americans, 1964. New York World's Fair. A Belgian vendor named Maurice Vermersch wants to introduce Americans to the waffle. He loads his up with whipped cream and strawberries because he thinks that's what Americans will want. And he names it the Brussels waffle because he thinks that sounds elegant. It explodes. Americans go insane for it. It goes national, then global. And Belgians watched all of this happen and thought one thing: that's not our waffle. The real waffle comes from Liège, 18th century. The story goes that the Prince Bishop of Liège had a cook who made an impulsive decision one day. He mixed pearl sugar directly into the dough. When it hit the iron, the sugar caramelized from the inside. No toppings needed. Nothing on top. The sweetness is already in the structure. Today in Brussels, the tourist strip sells the rectangular kind almost exclusively. The real one The Liège Waffle. You find it in the neighborhoods. Cold morning air. Paper wrapper. No performance. That's the one Belgians eat. Number 3. A biscuit that became a passport. Speculoos. Cinnamon, cardamom, clove, brown sugar, baked into a thin, snapping cookie that tastes like the medieval spice trade condensed into a single bite. Brussels in the Middle Ages was one of the most important spice trading hubs in all of Europe. Cinnamon and cardamom were arriving from the east at enormous cost, and the first food to bring those spices into everyday life, into something the working class could actually hold and eat, was this biscuit. A luxury ingredient made accessible. That's a recurring theme in this city. But here's what happened that nobody planned. 2007. Lotus Bakeries begin serving speculoos on American airline flights as a small complimentary snack. 2012. Trader Joe's stocks a speculoos butter spread, the cookie ground into a paste, like peanut butter, but made entirely from spiced biscuit. 2018. That spread becomes one of the fastest-growing specialty food products in the United States. A medieval Brussels biscuit accidentally becomes an American grocery phenomenon. Nobody planned this. It just kept spreading. The way things spread when they're actually good. Number 2. The flavor that an industry tried to kill. Sirop de Liège, a fruit syrup made by cooking down apples, pears, dates, and sugar beet for hours until it becomes something dense, dark, and almost medicinal in its intensity. It was born in the industrial heartland of Belgium during the 1800s. Working-class families needed something cheap, preserved without refrigeration, that could substitute for sugar in cooking. This was it. Spread it on bread, add it to stews, stir it into sauces. It was survival food. It had no pretensions. Then the 20th century arrived. Large food companies brought cheaper, sweeter, more shelf-stable products. Sirop de Liège lost its market. By the 1980s, it was nearly extinct. But a handful of families in Liège made a decision. They didn't modernize. They didn't scale. They kept the copper kettles, kept the hours-long reduction, kept the exact same recipe their grandparents used. Today, Sirop de Liège is on the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List. An industry tried to replace it. A few stubborn families refused. Sometimes that's all it takes. Number 1. At the very start of this video, I told you French fries are not French. Here's the full story. 1918. The final year of the First World War. American soldiers are stationed in the southern region of Belgium, the area known today as Wallonia. It's French-speaking Belgium, has been for centuries. Belgian soldiers offer them something from a cart. Potato strips, cut thin, fried twice in deep oil until the outside shatters and the inside stays soft. The Americans have never eaten anything like this. "What is this?" they ask. The Belgian soldiers answer. But they answer in French, because that's the language of this region. It's not France, it's Belgium. But the official language here is French. The Americans write it down. French. French fries got their name not from a country, from a language. The soldiers who made them were Belgian. The potatoes were Belgian. The technique, frying them twice, which is the actual secret, was Belgian. And food historians found something that goes even further back. A family document from 1781, written in the Namur province of Belgium. It describes a preparation for poor fishing seasons, when the river ran dry and there was no catch. Potatoes cut thin and fried in deep fat. No equivalent document exists in France from that same period. Not one. In Brussels, the fritkot still exists. The fry cart. On almost every corner in certain neighborhoods. Open late. Always a line. Fry cart operators in Belgium are a licensed professional category regulated by the state. No other country in the world has a government licensing category specifically for people who sell fried potatoes. Belgium does. In 2010, Belgian politicians formally petitioned the European Union to grant Belgian fries protected geographical status, the same protection given to champagne, to Parmigiano Reggiano, to Scotch whiskey. The French objected. The debate is still unresolved. But here's what we know. The most eaten snack food in human history is named after the wrong country. The people who invented it are still standing in line at the Fritkot on the corner, without any credit, without any acknowledgement, without even a correct name. 10 foods, 10 stories. 1 accident, 1 secret, 1 70-year lie, and a city that never needed anyone's validation to keep doing exactly what it does. Brussels isn't the loudest city in Europe. It's not the most famous. It doesn't have the mythology of Paris or the scale of London. But you have eaten its food your entire life. You just didn't know it was theirs. You eat it every day. Now you know what it is. Which one got you? The fries, the endive? Drop it in the comments. And if this one hit different, subscribe. New city, new stories. Stay curious.